Hey everyone, this is Styles from the TF Clan giving you the best settings and best keybinds for Rogue Company Season 6. Just note to self that this is just my personal settings that work the best for me, and let's get started. So for display and audio, I don't tweak with because I don't play on PC, so I'm going straight to the controls tab. And starting with movement, hold the crouch and hold sprint, I have it turned off. I usually just toggle with the right stick for crouching, and then for auto sprint I have it turned on. And so what that does is it frees up the left thumbstick clicking for another keybind that I'll have later. And me, typically I'm not a padded steps player, so I don't walk, but if you are a padded steps player, so you may want that turned off. But for me personally, I just sneak around crouch walking, or I'm usually just sending people with auto sprint, or I'm sniping, so I'm never in a position to walk. And then so for shoulder swap, for auto shoulder swap, I have it turned off. And I think all that does is in cover it shoulder swaps for you. So I just have that turned off. And then for horizontal and vertical settings, I have it at 7, and it moves pretty well. It's not too slow, it's not too fast for me. I'm able to hit fire really well. And then for ADS, horizontal and vertical, I have it at 55. And I'm able to track the characters pretty well, and just know that this may be obvious to some players, but this doesn't tweak with your scoping for snipers. It just messes with the ARs, the SMGs, and so forth with tracking. And then, like I said, for tracking for me at 55 for vertical and horizontal, it runs pretty well for me. The left and right stick dead zone, I have it at 0.2. The acceleration boost and the multiplier, I have it 4.99 and 1.05. And what that does is the boost allows you to, when you turn around and spin, it spins at a faster pace depending on how fast you want the boost to be. For me personally, 4.99 and 1.05 is the best for me. So scrolling down to the second page, ADS mode, I have it on hold. Some people, you can have it on toggle and so forth. Hold works the best for me, and I think that's default anyways. And then so for the scope settings, horizontal and vertical, I have it at 40 and 27. And it works the best for me, and I'm able to snipe really well with it. Typically for vertical, you don't want to have it really fast when you're going from up and down motion. And that's just my personal thing that's always worked for me. So 40 and 27 is kind of the golden spot for me personally for sniping, for scoping and so forth. X and Y axis, I have that turned off. Vibration, you can have it on or off. I guess that really depends on the day for me, but I have it on. And then reload interaction button, this is default, so I have it press reload and hold interaction. So for keybinds, I did something pretty weird here. Open store default is usually up on the D-pad, but what I've done is I actually combined the B button and up on the D-pad together to open the store, and it changes nothing. So when you're in the airship, or when you're in strikeout or team deathmatch and you open the store, you can open the store up with the up on the D-pad normally. But what this does is that it actually frees up the up D-pad keybind for something else that you want to use later on. And I'll show you what I've done with the up D-pad keybind later on. So open scoreboard still the same. I press the select button. Contextual ping, I actually press down on the D-pad, because typically when I'm usually moving my thumbs really fast from the left thumbstick to the D-pad, so that works for me. For quipping, I use the left D-pad, and I just use it to calmly people to say thank you or he's over there and so forth. So for the second page of the keybinds, I initially wanted to jump with the LB button, but jumping with anything other than A makes the game really choppy and there's a delay to it. So I just kept jumping the same with the A button. Sprinting I have with LB. That'll probably change in the future, but that's what I have for right now. Crouching still the same. I dodge roll with the left thumbstick, and it works really well for me. I feel free while rolling. I don't feel like I have to like shift my thumbs or anything to roll. Everything else is pretty much the same. I have gadgets on B. So what I did is on the gameplay tag you can turn off quick cast, and what quick cast is when you press the button it instantly throws a grenade. But turning it off, all it does is when I press the B button, it just pulls out the gadget, and then I can aim it how I choose. I can throw it as far as I want. I can cook the grenade without holding the B button. And then with toggle shoulders I have with the right directional pad, and it's not too far from my left thumbstick, so it works out really well for me. And then for ability, because of what I did on Open Store, where I put the up D-pad with plus B, it actually frees up the keybind to use however you want it. So there's no need to do this really, but I just did it just to try it out. And what I did is I placed the ability button on the up D-pad, and it works really well. The only time it doesn't work well is when you try to link to people on the airship with Dahlia. It gets really funky. You have to wait for them to touch the ground or land on the ground to link to them. And yeah, so everything else is pretty much the same. Melee, I use RB, and it works really well for me. The last thing I want to demonstrate is finding your perfect sensitivity. And for everyone, it's going to be different. For me, this is me at horizontal and vertical 7, and it works really well. I'm able to hit fire really fine with it. For everyone else, it's going to be different, and you're going to have to just experiment and find the number sensitivity that you feel comfortable with. And when you do, just hit fire with whatever gun that you decide, and yeah, just go from there. So this is me trying to find my ADS speed. So I play at 55 vertical and horizontal, and this is me just tracking the running AI right here. And what this does is, like I said, you're just gonna have to play with the numbers for ADSing on what feels right for you. And this is me just experimenting and tracking different AIs while ADSing. So the last one is finding your scope speed. So pulling out your sniper or the Ogle and tracking the same way that you do with ADSing. And it's just tracking the AI. If you can keep the scope on the person to switch quickly. And for this I have horizontal 40 and 27 vertical. And that's pretty much it for me. And this is just a tip for the new people trying to find their sensitivity or just trying to experiment. If you already have your settings locked down on pet or keybinds locked down on pet, then maybe this video isn't for you, but hopefully I'm able to show you something new that you haven't seen before. But for the newer players, I just hope this is very helpful, and people have been asking about my settings and keybinds for a while now, and I hope you guys have a good day. I thank you guys for all the support. For more guides and for awesome gameplay videos, subscribe to us on Talented Few, and thank you guys for watching.